Hello, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Is today's move in gold and silver prices an indicator of what is to come in 2018? It's anyone's guess, but I tell you what, there's a lot of movement in the precious metals, and it's kind of exciting to see. Here, according to this article, gold has soared towards the largest annual gain since 2010 on the dollar boost. From Reuters here, gold extended its rally to a 3-month high on Friday, leaping towards its biggest one-year rise in 7 years as a wilting U.S. dollar, political tensions, and receding concerns over the impact of U.S. interest rate hikes fed into its rally. Gold's gains coincide with the greenback, in which gold is priced, sliding towards its worst year since 2003. Damaged by tensions over North Korea, the Russian scandal surrounding U.S. President Donald Trump's election campaign, and persistently low U.S. inflation. And it's amazing how the normal indicators rear their heads again, ugly or not, and that is typically it's the dollar, which and oil, and geopolitics. Geopolitics really can play a part, as well as domestic policy with the Fed and low U.S. inflation. We'll kind of look into that here more as the article continues, talking about how the dollar index touched 3-month lows on Friday, lifting bullion to its highest level since late September at 1307.60 an ounce before paring gains. Strong charts and weaker dollar and expectations of bullish fundamental factors ahead of the bolstered gold prices and year-end trade, said David Meager, director of metals trading at High Ridge Futures in Chicago. Gold spot prices were up 0.67% at 1303.37 per ounce by 2:05 Eastern Time, poised to finish 2017 up 13%. Benchmark U.S. gold futures, GCV1, settled up 12.1 and 0.93% at 1309.30 per ounce, finishing the year 12% higher. You know, and it's quite interesting because mostly this time of year, we see the markets kind of quiet. In fact, we typically see a dip in gold and silver prices, but not today. It's quite a different story today. It goes on to say that going back to the last Fed meeting, with its slightly more dovish tone, commodities markets have gotten a bit of a green light, Meager said, referring to indications this month that the U.S. central banks will keep its rate outlook unchanged for the coming year. This recent bout of weakness in the dollar certainly is fostering a commodities rally, and we've seen a light downturn in equities as well. The metal will be vulnerable next year to a rebound in the currency, as well as any gains in the yields. ABN AMRO analyst George Jet Bull said, the opportunity cost of holding non-interest-bearing bullion increases when yields rise elsewhere. Gold's chart signals looks positive after it broke above its 100-day moving average this week at $12.95 an ounce. Scotia Makota's technical team said in a note, pointing to the target of October's high of $13.06. Among precious metals, palladium posted the strongest rise of the year, climbing 57% as concerns grew over availability after years of deficit. Palladium eased 0.31% at $1,062 an ounce, having hit its highest level since February 2001 at $1,072 in the previous session. It has held an historically unusual premium to platinum this year. Silver was up 0.51% at $16.92, pairing gains of a 1-month high of $17.11. Platinum was up 0.11% at $9.24 after touching a 4-week high of $9.3620. This year, the two metals have risen by 6% and 3% respectively. And touching more on this, I heard on the news, on radio news, that a lot of it is just the faith in the dollar and concerns about the economic outlook for the tax cut coming in 2018, because as you know, the tax cut will be effective in February, and there's some concern about how much effect it will have on the economy compared to liquidity by the European Central Bank and others, and what the Federal Reserve has done in the past. I guess they're concerned about if it will have as much real growth as we've seen with the quantitative easing measures or liquidities by these banks. But the thing is that, in my opinion, we saw what happened with the previous 8 years here in the United States with quantitative easing. A lot of money being flowed into the economy around the world, really. And how much effect did it have? Well, we saw growth mostly under 2%. It was the most stagnant economic growth in U.S. history. And so I think that it'll just speak for itself with the economy as far as what's going to happen with the um, tax cuts and economic growth, and we just have to let the wheels turn as they will. Certainly, the geopolitical tensions. There's new tension between China and the U.S. over China sneaking in oil into North Korea, which I could have guessed probably would have happened, and we caught them on it. And I think Trump will probably be tough with them. It's a shame that they're not helping us more with North Korea. There's no purpose that could be served other than just the promise of resources. But I tell you what, if you open that country up, China could benefit a lot more than they are, in my opinion, if there's a new regime that could be friendly to the East and West, and to North Korea, or unite the countries. It's anyone's guess as to what will happen there, but nonetheless, it certainly has risen some tensions between the two nations, and that certainly will affect the Asian markets as well as the Western markets for the precious metal prices moving ahead. Certainly interesting to see, and of course we have the what some say is going to be a threat to gold and silver into 2018, and that is the cryptocurrencies. But I think that today's action, I think, pretty much has bolstered gold and silver as being independent, at least that they are the ultimate safe haven, and that holding those and the prices will be affected by the markets and everything. And whereas some are saying that, well, it's going to go into cryptocurrencies instead of gold and silver, but we see what's happened today with the prices, and also the obvious industrial applications, especially with silver, as a commodity. And that's one reason why I think that in 2018, for myriad of reasons, we're going to see silver continue to climb up at some level. As to what that level will be, it's anybody's guess, but we shall see how it all plays out. Nonetheless, there's a lot of excitement today. It's very interesting that the precious metals have risen on the last day of trading here in 2017, and moving ahead. I certainly was surprised. But what are your thoughts about the rise of the precious metals today? Post your thoughts below. And I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching. 2017 was quite an interesting year, and we will press on into 2019 or 2018. And I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.